Hello, today I'm here to talk to you about Fullcast Pay. Fullcast Pay makes commission management simple. Comp plans and incentive programs in general are designed to help drive seller behavior based on your organizational strategy. And so, in order to do so, Fullcast Pay help automate that calculation in order to ensure that commissions are paid accurately and on time, which in turn helps create certainty and confidence among the sellers. This is achieved by delivering to the sellers real time visibility into what they're getting paid for, how much. And Fullcast Pay will also introduce automation across the full revenue lifecycle. So let's jump into the product to see how Fullcast helps to achieve these goals. So what we're looking at here is the Fullcast homepage. Obviously, there's a lot going on within Fullcast as there is a lot of breadth to the platform. So for now, we're going to focus on this box in the top right around commissions. And you can think of commissions as two critical elements. There's the crediting rules, which help to dictate which specific transactions are going to be associated for the individual sellers. If there are splits, they could get portions of that transaction in terms of their credit. And then there's the comp plans and how are they going to get paid based on the transactions that they have now gotten credited for. So let's jump into the crediting rules and talk a little bit about how Fullcast helps to automate the process of establishing credit. And so as part of this, we really want to break out your compensation plans into all of their different elements and define a crediting rule for each of the various transactions for which an individual may receive credit. This could be based on a deal being closed, but it could also be based on deals progressing through different stages. It could be based on meetings being booked for a BDR or SDR. And so this is where we break out all the different rules related to crediting. As we jump into an example here, I actually want to start at the bottom where we're looking at event criteria. Essentially, this dictates what are the criteria for a transaction to be credited to an individual. You might have different situations, as I mentioned before, that might arise to dictate whether or not a transaction should be considered as credit for an individual according to their plan. You'll see I have three different conditions that have been mapped out here. And in the end, we're essentially trying to define a business rule that will capture these transactions in an automated way. So for this particular crediting rule, we have these three conditions that need to be met in order to be considered. As we work through the rest of this form, you'll see that there's an element of mapping some fields from this sales transaction or from your CRM. So determining where is the account ID, what is the effective date of interest, and then capturing additional fields. And you'll have the opportunity to go in and define what are the fields of interest on an opportunity or from a sales transaction that are going to be important when it comes to the crediting process and ultimately the comp calculations as well. In addition to capturing that data, you then have the opportunity to include a lookup field. What that means is you'll be able to reference additional tables. In this example here, I'm calling on a separate independent table that's already been mapped out with our incentive compensation rates that are unique per seller, and I'm pulling that into the mix as well. So we're looking up the sellers associated with these transactions and calling in their personalized ICRs. In addition, you can do some calculated fields as well. So with some basic operations, you can do some additional calculations as we're gathering all this information together. Below that, we're going to be specifying exactly which individuals are going to be getting credit for this particular crediting rule. So in this case, we have the account executives, we have their managers who are getting a portion of this credit as well. And at the very bottom, we're associating this crediting rule with some sort of target. That could be quota, that could be some other target. Maybe they have a target for number of meetings that need to be booked for an SDR. The results of all of this is we now have automatically captured a list of transactions. And as these flow in through your CRM, you're getting additional sales transactions based on this specific crediting rule. You will now have a list of the credited transactions for various individuals. And this would be our holistic list of all of those transactions that are coming in that are being captured. And you've already gone ahead and mapped out specific fields of data that you need, as well as some additional pieces of information that we've called upon through our lookup tables, some new calculated fields, and so on. So that takes care of the crediting. We now have a list of transactions along with all the relevant data that are being captured for a specific element of the comp plan. As I back out here, let's look at the next element related to commissions, which is the compensation plan itself. Again, you might have a variety of different comp plans for various roles, various individuals, even within those roles, and you'll be able to map those out within Fullcast Pay. Let's jump into one as an example here, and we'll consider an account executive's comp plan. You'll notice that you're able to accommodate for a variety of different situations. We have some tiered rates based on percentage, where if they achieve these rates, they then achieve a certain percentage of commission. Down below, you'll see that there's also the ability to accommodate for specific spiffs, not necessarily a tiered rate, but if they adhere to certain criteria, they're going to get a flat payout. And you'll be able to define this criteria as well. In this case, it's when a product of a particular type, maybe a couple different types, as well as a contract length of greater than 1 year is achieved, then they're going to get this automated $5,000 commission. Down below, we have some other examples here. Again, we have different configuration of a tiered rate based on certain criteria. And in addition to this mapping of your tiered rates, you'll be able to configure a variety of calculations, and you'll see a wide library of calculations that I've gone ahead and set up within my demo environment. This is where you can start to specify which fields you want to have an impact on other fields. You can have nested calculations as well, depending on the nuance and complication of your comp plan, in order to define what does this comp plan look like and map that out in an automated way. Ultimately, we'll be able to capture all this, process this in real time, and then we want to provide that visibility back to the end users as well. And I have some examples. The first one being a relatively basic example of what you can make available to your end users. You can call on a variety of different metrics along this top row here. You can swap these out. You can add additional metrics as well. In this case, we're looking at average deal size month over month, as well as their commissions month over month. And then down below, we have a table providing that visibility as to which transactions they're getting paid for and for how much. And you'll see that there's some summation down below. Oftentimes, you'll see multiple tables representing the different components that make up your unique comp plan. And if you wanted to, you also have the opportunity to include a variety of different visualizations. And I have some visuals here just to highlight the breadth of charts that can be included in your reporting structure as well. So hopefully that gives you a good little taste of what Fullcast Pay is all about. And we'd love to have some more conversations with you about it.